August 1st at 5 p.m. is in session. Remember, green is on, not lit up is off. Make sure we get the mics close to us. Our current audio video system, visual system is not the best, so the viewing public trying to get able to hear it. And if you don't want anything heard, you might want to turn that green button off. To my right, we have Dickie Harper, who's our airport director. To his right, we have the Mayor Pro Tem and City Council Member Julius Buckley. To my left is the famous and infamous Bob Bartlett. To his left is Greg Model. Next to him is Dustin Newell. On here it says John Newell. We call him Dustin. I don't think a lot of people at the airport even know him as John, to be honest. And then to his left is Hugh McFarland, and I am John Wigan. Invocations can be done by Roger Brooks, and the flags are going to be led by Dickie.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, number 3 is public comments. Any person with city-related business may speak to the airport board in compliance with Texas Open Meetings Act. The airport board may not discuss or vote on any matter raised in the public comments unless it is specifically on the agenda. To speak during a public board meeting, you must be recognized by the presiding officer. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person, and we do have Stephen Humphreys, is that correct?
Correct.
Steve? Come on up, Steve. Tell us your name and address, if you don't mind.
We're live.
We are live.
My name is Stephen Humphreys. I live at 3815 Wildwood Valley Court in Kingwood, Texas. I have been at Cleveland Municipal Airport since about 20 years of age. And there's just a couple things that have come up on the agenda recently that I thought I'd come and say a few words. One is Chuck in the Quonset hut. That Quonset hut represents, it's been there since day one. It's been old since day one. And basically, during the hurricane, a panel blew off the top of it, and I thought it'd be a fairly simple fix to throw another strip on top of it. And I understand that engineers went out and looked at it, and it's not in good shape. So anyway, given that, I understand that that building's going to be torn down. And so therefore Chuck is up in age and he may need more time he has a wealth of tools. He's been a mechanic on the field forever and he has a wealth of tools in the back of that hangar, and it's going to take effort by many people to help him get out of that. So I wanted to make that comment for Chuck. He's been a good friend. I worked with Alpien for a number of years. Alp is wonderful for the airport. I've been very pleased with Dickie. He's been a great guy to pick up the reign of the airport and continue on. And then the other comment I want to make real quick is the recent renewal of leases out at the airport. 8 pages of what I consider to be making the lessee not have any power at all to say anything about the airport, upkeep, ramp, etc. And the city basically has no obligation to do anything with the airport. I know Dickey has great plans for the airport, and so does the city is and overall, but I just thought that the way that lease reads, it's a little over the top, and some things I think should be struck from it. I don't even know what chapter 22 is that it references, and a few things, other comments. I wasn't prepared to speak on that, and I'm not an attorney, so but I just wanted to make a few comments, so that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Number 4, reports and comments from board members. We'll start with our director, Dickey.
Good afternoon. Bear with me here, quite a bit to go over. First, I want to talk, there was a couple of things brought to my attention about the lease. So I've already went through and worked on these. And in section 4, para D, I went ahead and removed the 1 quart and put approved containers. Under section 5, paragraph B, I deleted the pilot instruction. And then also in section 5, I deleted what is then paragraph C. So paragraph C on the lease, modified one will read differently. I have new leases here that I can hand out if anybody wants them right now, that are good. I also, if you have your current lease, you can come in to the office and we can scratch through those few things and still sign it, and I'll initial beside it, and then where paragraph C was listed at, I'll write in there deleted, because we're going to reference the chapter 22 aviation ordinance division 5 section 2274 paragraph D, which nullifies that paragraph that's currently on the lease. So that's gone. And I do have the new ones here that I can hand out, or we can fill out the old ones and do some initialing beside it. Let's see. Also, they have started to work on the generator plugs. I got the generator myself. I need to talk with you about storing it. I got it chained up right now.
You're good to go.
Okay, because it does have oil and gas in it, and I really don't want to keep it in the office. So they are almost done. They got about halfway done today. They'll be out tomorrow to finish it. It looks really nice. We did get our license from TDLR for our fuel meters, so they are online and legit. The courtesy car is now 24 hours. If you go into the lobby and you can see, if the office is open, we can still assist you with the car if anybody comes in and needs it. But now there's a checkout sign and a lockbox on the wall, and Unicom is what the code is, so you can get in there and get the car. Like, I got a guy coming in tonight about 9 o'clock. He's going to use it and then bring it back tomorrow. So this will be a really good test on how the procedures and everything work. The gate signs that were brought up at the last meeting have been created. They've been installed on the gate and then on the fence in the front. They work good. Trust me, I've been getting phone calls every night. Yeah. We do have a sign-in sheet now in the lobby, so whenever guests do come in, it worked good today. When the contractor came in, they came in, checked in, and we got them into work. The ALP resolution has been sent to TxDOT. I'm wrapping up the final form with them, and then that'll be started. The culvert by K-Hanger, great job, Public Works. It flows good now. There was 0 water backup on this last heavy rain, so that works good. We moved the dumpster. They moved it back, so he shouldn't be running over it anymore. Yeah, no. All the debris has been taken away. I've been working on the lights on the runway and taxiway. I got the broken lights on the runway are all fixed. There's still one blue light halfway down the taxiway going towards 3-4, and that's broken, laid on its side. Once the water resides, then I'll get in there and get it, and then I can fix it. I've got all the parts for it. There is one taxiway sign down on 1/6 end that we did finally get it troubleshot. It is a bad bulb causing the whole sign to short out. So the bulbs are in the mail, should be here next week. I'll have those changed out. That'll be back online. And one more blue lens, and then that's on the way too. FAA, Airport Compliance Division did reach out to me. They are planning now to do their audit in November. And they didn't give an exact date, but I imagine it's going to be within the first 2 weeks, since Thanksgiving is after that, and usually they'll be shut down. Attended the Texas Airport Council meeting yesterday, and Dan Harmon was there also, the leader of the TxDOT Aviation. So they are pushing for the ramp to be the exact same as it was this year, the 90-10 at 100,000 match, which is good. So they approved everything, all of that's been pushed up, so now it's just waiting on a governor's signature, and then we can start applying for it, hopefully in next month, September or October, and then continue putting that to work. We did lower let me do that, fuel sales last month. We did sell 4,930 gallons of avgas, and we had 8 days of bad weather too, to include a hurricane and no power. Jet fuel is about average. We sold 190 gallons. So I've reached out to a couple more people. Houston Healthcare, they're going to start coming out. I did lower the price on jet fuel also to $3.95, so maybe that'll entice some more people also to start coming in. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Dickie on the airport update?
Yeah, on the lease, on the back side of it, we're signing 3 months, right? And then at the beginning of the year, you come back and sign it again? That's how I read it.
No, so now that's for, let's say, new people coming in. Like I just had a guy come in and sign a lease to be on the ramp. So his lease will be for 3 months. And then after that, if everything's good, he can sign, just keep going month to month, or it'll be 1 year. So he'll bring a letter and saying, hey, I want to do, 1 year lease. And then that's what we'll put in there in his binder. Now for everybody that's already been there 3 months, you can go straight to a 1 year portion if you want. You just got to submit the letter.
Okay, so we need to submit a letter.
So we need to do the lease, and I'm sorry. So I just want some clarification. So the lease that we're doing and signing, we need to submit a letter with that saying we want to be at 1 year, or is that lease good for a year?
No, the lease is still
Why is it a day?
without you declaring that you want it for a year. I mean, we can pin on there that client has already been on on station for years. Request that this lease starting this date is a year long. We can do that instead of bypassing the letter. But for all new people that come in, they will be required to submit a letter saying that, hey, I want to do a year. And I think even the old leases required a letter, but I don't think it was enforced.
You know what?
Yeah, I don't think it was ever enforced.
What's the purpose? I mean, I'm sounding like an idiot here, and I apologize, but what's the purpose of the letter?
I guess to put it in
You're
here,
doing a lease, and
Yeah.
if I'm asking my question correctly, just to clarify, if we're doing a lease, what's the purpose of the letter to do?
well, the lease doesn't have an end date on it. So it's just month to month. You can leave it just like that. But technically, leases should be, renewed. So you can, what does it say, less than 30 days from expiration date, may renew for subsequent 1 year periods upon giving written notice to lessor, not more than 180 days or less than 60 days prior to expiration of your current lease. So at the end of the 3 months, but y'all will be, that portion will be grandfathered because you've already been there longer than 3 months.
So just to maybe paraphrase it a little bit to make sure I understand it
Yes, sir.
correctly from John's question. The purpose of the lease is to communicate to the tenants and for the tenants to agree to the conditions of the lease. This is primarily. nothing else, it's a month to month, just like we have.
Yes.
We have the option as tenants to request a one-year lease, which would then lock in that hangar rate for a year. I guess that's the primary advantage for me to make that request. And the city will entertain and concur with that if we choose, but we would have to initiate that, which is the purpose of the letter.
Yes.
But doing nothing will be month to month.
Correct.
Like you're saying, it says in writing, so I think you could write it on the lease.
Yeah.
And if you sign the, submitted the letter for a year, and then 6 months from now,
There is no penalty for you as the leasing.
then you could terminate the lease with how much notice, 6 days?
Yeah, so usually, so if you wanted, yes, what I think, what we have in here is if you could give me 30 days notice that, hey, I'm leaving at the end of this month. It gives me time to start making preparation, to get the hangar, as soon as you walk out, someone else walks in. Now we know circumstances, you know, may be different, case to case, but, we'll look at that. I mean, but there is no penalty.
On the end of it, where you got to execute this, could you put the end date so that if you ever want to do a year, it's already on there, as opposed to having a letter?
Yep. we'll pin it.
I mean, I'd like to
Pin it
figure
right
out a
there.
way to make this a little less complicated. And then I might be on my own island here, it just seems like it's kind of complicated. You know, agree or disagree, what do you want?
Well, that's why I brought it up, it's just confusing when I read it, am I supposed to resubmit another letter in 3 months from now?
No, you won't, because you've already been there.
Doesn't read that way.
So you're,
Yeah, well, it's reading for new tenants.
It doesn't.
Well, so far as everybody's been coming in, I've been actually sitting there and discussing with them and their plans and walking through the lease with every person so far. We've had 8 people come in, and so far it's been no issues yet.
What is the status of the hangar list, or the waiting list?
70, I think it was 70 people last. I mean, it's still, everybody's just waiting till we get, open hangar. Dale Hamlin, he's number 1 on the list right now. He called me the other day, he was really excited when I told him he was number 1. So he'll be number 1 for anything.
okay. All good? Julius, you got anything for us for an update?
Just we had the backpack giveaway last Friday, it went good, we actually started early, and it was done by 5:15, it was supposed to start at 5. But
Oh, man.
we had to start early because Houston was lining up with cars and TxDOT's calling to get them off. But that was it, and then of course everybody that helped out during the hurricane to donate time, hand stuff out, and cut trees down, there was a good public works, busy, that was a big effort. That's all I have.
Hugh, you got anything else? Dustin?
Yeah, we had our, that was a few Saturdays ago, I can't remember exactly which one, but, EA chapter 1698, we had our, chapter meeting was kind of slow because of Oshkosh. Everybody was at Oshkosh. But, we went ahead and decided on October 5th, we're gonna do a Young Eagles rally at the airport. So we're expecting at least 100 kids for the day, that's what we're planning on. So we'll have that probably up and registered, ready to go by, I'm hoping by the end of the week. October
October 5th.
Yeah. And we'll do kind of what we did before, but with the small EA plan, burger burn, hot dog burn. And we got banners being made, and so it should be a good event for the public.
I went to one in Ed, or was at Edna last Sunday, and I had to fly over there for something else, just fly over there back, and they were doing one over there. It was really neat, really seeing all those kids lined up out there waiting for their plane ride. It was really cool when I flew in there and saw that.
Yeah, for the group, I guess, doesn't know about what the Young Eagles event is anywhere, any age from 8, not your 18th birthday. And they get free EAA membership, they get an aeronautical membership for the aeronautical models. They get a free lesson after they complete their ground school, a little piece of their ground school. So it's a fantastic organization with EAA.org.
You have to be an EA member to ride a flight. I mean, if you're going to volunteer to help.
Yes, to become a pilot for it, you have to be an EA member, and we have to go through 2 different trainings. We do Young Eagles training, and we do an actual background check. It's a certificate.
I'm sorry, Hugh, go ahead. Or not Hugh, I'm sorry. Greg. You already went. Greg, go ahead.
So, I think you may have answered my question already, but just a little bit, I've been around the airport since the leases started being mailed out. There's a lot of questions, and people wanting to know why, questions about, okay, what does this airport mean? So there seems to be a need for information. And I was just going to suggest, I don't know what the right form for that is, whether maybe it's people coming in and you can explain to a one-on-one, or if it's worth doing some sort of a gathering, whether face-to-face or Zoom, or I don't know. And maybe I'm overthinking this, but there just seems to be a lot of concern because there hasn't been a lease like this before. And so now that it showed up as certified letter, everybody's going, what's this? And what am I signing? And what does this mean? There's just a lot of questions. So I don't know, to me, if we could be, my recommendation or suggestion would be if we could be proactive in whatever way that is to communicate to the tenants out there the why behind the lease and what we're trying to accomplish. So I think we could.
Yeah, I know a lot of them, I've received a lot of phone calls, and I've talked to, I think I showed you my list of how many people I've already, probably about, I'd say 45% I've already spoken to, whether it's in person, on the phone, or via email back and forth. The rest of them, yeah, I mean, if they call you, send them to me. Yes, please. You know, tell them, hey, go see Dickie. I'm more than willing to talk to any of them. And one thing I did forget. Saturday we had the Cleveland chapter of the CAP Gal. They were doing because it was a rainy day. There was nobody flying, so they did practice down aircraft scenarios. So it was really good.
And John, I just have one other comment, and just a question, I guess, on one of the big topics we've had recently, but not lately, has been the status of all the traffic from other flight schools at Cleveland and the impact on the local operations. And there's been some discussion about how to address that, and I was wondering where that was. So whether it's now or another time in the meeting or offline, etc.
Yeah, well, the last I got was we were just hold off and watch instead of putting out the note that blocked all traffic coming in, train traffic. You were saying hold off, let's see how it goes.
Well, I thought we were going to try it. Well, more than hold off, before we did that, we were going to try to do some outreach.
And I thought,
We did? Okay.
what was his name? His son works for ATP. Andy. I thought he said he was going to reach out to them also, but I haven't seen him to get any input back. He was going to have his,
Yeah, it's one school, right.
yeah.
So anyway, I just was wondering if there was any effort to do that kind of an outreach, to be proactive.
No, I haven't spoke to them personally since the last time. No.
Okay. I guess that's the reason I'm asking the question. Is there a plan to do that, or we're just going to wait and see what it's
I guess let me get with I don't know what we can. I mean, I can just talk to them and tell them, hey, slow down, or try to limit traffic, but it doesn't mean that they have to. I mean, I can speak to them. And matter of fact, it's probably gonna get a lot more worse because there's another school opening over there with 14 more planes.
Right, I think, you know, I don't want to kind of reiterate, just to say
Yeah.
this, they may not know there's a problem,
Mhm.
because their vantage point isn't going to reveal that to them. Sitting at a desk on their flight school, their instructors are going in and out, they're doing what they need to do. Cleveland is the one that sees the problem, because we're at the critical mass point of all that. So it would be, the onus would be on us, however we choose to do that, to do the outreach and explain what the problem is and ask for assistance. And so if we don't do something like that, I don't think the problem's going to resolve itself. That's my opinion.
And also, just to expand on that just for a second on Greg's deal is, and I'm not defending flight schools or anything like that, I promise, but if you have 5 flight schools, the only thing they're worried about is their flight school. So if their flight school has 3 planes at Cleveland doing touch and goes, that's what they know of, is they have 3 planes at Cleveland doing touch and goes. They don't know what the other 4 schools are doing out of the 5, if that makes sense. And if you have the other 4 schools doing 2 planes over there, that first school that had 3 over there don't realize there's 8 more planes in our traffic pattern, because they're not keeping up with what other schools are doing. And I think that's part of the issue. And yeah, we probably just need to,
Get a tower?
yeah.
Well, there's obviously still an issue, because the other day, I watched you, I thought they were gonna hit. One part of the runway, the other one's right above you. You never saw it. And, you know, one was in a low-wing airplane, the other was in a high-wing airplane, on the bottom. And they had been 25 foot apart. You couldn't see sky between them, and the other one turned off. So, I mean, it's just, there is an issue, and I think the outreach of safety, like Greg said, it needs to happen, or we're gonna have something we don't want, eventually. And, you know, these are all students, they're all new, they're all green, you know, it's even these instructors, they hit 300 hours, 250 hours, they're instructors. So, I mean, think of the experience that you have there with it. You know, now teaching someone new, it's a recipe for disaster. That I think we can avoid if we try.
Yeah, and then, I don't know what it would take to actually get a tower, but I've had multiple people at the airport talk to me about getting one.
We don't want one.
Look at it. It would help alleviate all of it.
No, that could actually create a lot more problems than you can think. I mean, you got 3 air traffic controllers right here, they'll tell you.
We resemble that remark.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, create more problems than we want. And only if we want the tower at our airport. We're trying to avoid that at all costs.
So I bring it up, and again, I'm not trying to, you know, be adversarial or any of that. It's just that in our role as advisory committee, if we see an issue at the airport, I believe one of our obligations and duties is to raise that to the city's attention. And the fact that we have been discussing it at this board meeting in public record. So if something happens and it's public record that we've been discussing it and we don't act or aren't in the process of acting, then I think we will have a very difficult question to answer. So that's the reason I'm bringing it up, is to keep a little pressure on the topic so that it doesn't just drift away. Because as Dustin mentioned, and I don't want to say the sky's falling, I'll reach a little here, but you know, a safety issue like this, all of a sudden, man, it hits you on the bolt of lightning, and you're going to want to dang it, I wish we would have done something, you know, if there was something there. So I'm bringing up in that spirit, is to keep a little pressure on it so that we can demonstrate, one, that we're taking action to do an issue that I believe is a serious one, and that we're doing it before something really bad happens.
And so we spoke to them before, you know, months ago. It slowed down and it's picked up again. I mean, I'm not a pilot. I can speak to them. There's not much that I can force them to do. We are a public airport, but I'm more than happy to reach out to them again and say, hey, you know, it's picking up again. But I mean, other than that, I mean, if y'all got some options too, please let me know on, you know, ideas on what can we do to mitigate traffic.
I had that, I submitted that letter or word of something that we could, not enforceable, from an FAR standpoint, but as far as an airport request, I mean, it would just be something to maybe look at.
I mean, we can put like you said, put a letter together with the airport board as the letterhead and send it to them also.
It's something that, maybe they just be proactive, if you don't want something to happen, but that might be a start, to get the conversation going, and then have it
Email.
once a year, if not more often than that, with each flight school, so it's kind of front, where they can't miss seeing that. And then as you start to come through, the state legal inspections request that, there's, whatever, 4 in the pattern, you make a full stop. If 3 in the pattern, you keep going around, if it's 4 or 5, you make a full stop, tax that. That kind of helps self-manage the pattern, short of having power or notating it, no as it goes, but we don't want to go that way. So, thought and then bring that back up.
I mean, if y'all can email me some bullet points about what y'all see, and I'll put it all together on an airport board letterhead, and I'll send it to them, and hopefully they got some sort of reading initial board, that they can, I'll ask them, hey, please post this on your reading, besides also talking to them, but, telling them, hey, can you post this on your reading initial board, and, help us out.
Well, you might touch base, from what I've heard recently, Huntsville's experiencing the same issue dramatically, so you might touch base with Huntsville's airport manager. What's his name? Wade. Wade Gillespie, talk to him, and you might touch base with him just to see what and that's just what I heard the other day, that they're experiencing the same problem. And it's gotten pretty serious over there too, from what I understand. See what he's doing about it. Maybe we get a hold of all the flight schools. Realistically, 6, get a hold of the flight schools, and if Wade's on board, maybe have a meeting see if we can get a meeting together with all of them.
Well, there's another program called the FAA Fast Teams, and that's a group of individuals. They're certified. It can be pilots. It's just a group together. They go around and actually give symposiums and put safety stuff like that. It's all about safety. That might be an outreach with those guys.
So I'll do that too. I'll call Houston FAA Flight Safety District Office. I just spoke to them the other day. I'll call him back. He's a real easy guy to speak to. He answers, messages. So I'll reach out to
Ask them about the fast teams.
Isdale again.
Because they'll probably put you in touch with some fast, what do they call them, team leads? I think it's team leads. And those guys will put the groups and the efforts together and actually address the issue.
Oh, yeah, because we just had a very long conversation about Bar Part 103. So this will be really good.
That'll work. Bob Bartlett, you got anything for us, young man?
Back up, give an answer to do change. And so, I'm very much in support of the effort that everyone's take by doing the national safety possibly. So, there's a moment, an answer to move on.
The Honorable Mayor Bob Bartlett. Did y'all know he's mayor of North Lincoln?
That's a secret, but it's okay.
He is, he's the mayor of North Lincoln. For me, I don't know that we've actually met since we had a fireworks. We got overshadowed by a hurricane and weather and everything else, but we had a great fireworks display. I was up at about 1,500 feet the whole time. It was gorgeous from the air. I've had a few phone calls, of course, on the grass and concerns on our upkeep at the airport. I'm not defending Roger Brooks as much as I like him, but he has been a very busy guy. We've had just an enormous amount of rain this year, and our public works has to take care of the entire city, not just our airport. So I know that he's sent people out there a few times and they get stuck or can't mow because it's just gets too wet and they get aggravated. And so they're trying. I believe they're trying. I wouldn't say that if I didn't. Anybody knows me knows that I'm going to call it like it is. But they have definitely been trying to keep it up, but they have a lot to do. I want everybody to keep in mind that the transition that we're going through at the airport is a transition still. I know some people think 7 months or 6 months, whatever. 7 months is a very long time, but in the realm of city government, sometimes 7 months is like 7 days to certain people, unfortunately. But I think as long as we keep doing what we're doing on the airport board and advising as much as we can advise and keep doing what we're doing, we'll get through it for sure. Kind of touching on what Julia said earlier, the cleanup around Cleveland was just awesome. I mean, everybody stepped up. We got hammered. I know a lot of people, as far as the airport's concerned, are not from Cleveland, but Bob, Dustin, and I, and of course Vicki and Julius, we all do live here, and we got hammered, really hammered. I can't remember. 8 days, Dustin home. Dustin was out for 8 days of power. I mean, we just got hammered. It tore this area up, and I think the crews, our public works, police department, fire department, everybody jumped in. We gave away, I can't remember how much water.
18-wheelers.
Yeah, 3 18-wheeler trucks of water. I mean, it was pretty neat to see this community get together and do what they did after that hurricane. Really, really nice. My applause to them for sure. I think the outreach to the schools, we definitely, I'll be glad to come in and help on that if we need to. We got to get after that, no doubt. Yeah, we gotta get after that. Other than that, that's about it. Anything else from anyone? One more quick thing. I need to know from board members what we want on the agendas. You'll all have my number. I've allowed number 4 on this agenda to take place the way it's went, but legally, Texas Open Meetings Act controls all of this. Julie's down there shaking his head because I can get my hand slapped for the way you've done this. Legally, we weren't allowed to have all this conversation on number 4. I allowed it because I knew of situations we had that we needed to address. So what we need to do in the future, just to let you all know, is we need to do reports and comments from board members. Number 3 is going to be, or number 4 is going to need to be the director's report. And then number 5 is going to need to be reports and comments from board members. And then from then on, it doesn't have to be consideration of possible action, but between that and the possible action, then we need to add in, if it's not going to be something we need to vote on, we need to add in what we do want to discuss. If we want to discuss lease, if we want to discuss training, if we want to discuss whatever it is specifically, we need to add that in there. And I know I've kind of allowed this, get my hand slapped a little bit, so we need to kind of do it the correct legal way, if y'all don't mind, on September's. Everybody on the same page on that? Go ahead.
It's a good clarification for me. I just want to
Yes.
check on something. So I was looking at the comment on past topics.
And that's the
Question
fine
for
line.
status, but that, if I had that, I should submit that to say, discussion,
So, well, there's the
what
difference.
you're asking.
If you look at his reports and comments from board members, it doesn't allow for discussion. I know I've allowed it, and I can do that to an extent, obviously, I'm the president, but, so, in the future, if we're going to want discussion on an item, we really need to get it put on there, on the discussion, on the topic of discussion.
There's no action that we take on this
No.
discussion we're gonna have, and that is stuff we move on from there.
It's not going to be something we take action on, but legally, you just got to have it on there in that correct form. Am I saying that kind of correctly, Scott? Okay, number 5, approved minutes from July 2nd, 2024 from the airport board meeting. Everybody have a chance to look at them? Any complaints, problems, gripes? Got a motion?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Got a motion from Julius Buckley to approve the minutes from July 2nd, 2024 airport board meeting. Do I have a second? I have a second by Greg Model. Any other discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously. I also, I knew Eddie wasn't going to be able to hear this evening, by the way. He's had some other things come up unexpectedly. Number 6, discussion of possible action on the following. Quonset hut, Hangar Q, damage and future use. So the lady that is supposed to be here to run this down wouldn't be able to be at work today. But I sat down with her, bless you, Jules. I sat down with her today over the phone to kind of get a little bit of a rundown. And simply put, the hangar was, because of Burl, the hangar obviously took some damage. I know there's some pictures there that we have of some of that damage, but it doesn't quite have all the pictures there. Some of the pipe on the floor base has been rusted out and not attached anymore. There's quite a bit more to it. So they had an engineer look at it, and obviously they have yellow tagged it as a substandard structure and met with the occupant of the Quonset hut, and he is, I think they've agreed to 60 days, give him 60 days on moving, and if he needs anything else, I think the city's more than willing to work with him on anything they can do. That being said, what the city is requesting is us to have, to see if we would give some advisement on what to do with it for the future. It's going to need a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of choices on it. You can send out an RFP, a proposal, and they post those proposals, and then people can put in bids or ideas on what they want to do with it, fix it up, make it a big hangar again, or whatever, you know. But basically, that's kind of what they're looking for, is just a little bit of advisement from the airport board on what to do with it in the future, on what avenues to take with it. Let's go, both of y'all are reaching at the same time. Greg, let's go with you first.
Just a couple questions so I understand what you're asking us. So, the current tenant, Chuck, has been given 60 days notice to leave. Is that
Yes.
correct? Or-
Yeah, they've yellow tagged the building.
So, and the purpose, and the reason for that is,
It's not safe. Yeah, they believe.
so the city is not interested in repairing it to make it safe.
They're not sure. From what I understand, it's not that they just need some ideas. It could cost a lot to repair that building.
Right. I guess that's what's throwing the question in my head, because we told somebody they're leaving because it's not safe.
Oh,
Now we're going to have some ideas on how to go forward, and I have a disconnect
I'm with you.
on that. That's where,
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, I can kind of address that a little bit. I mean, before we even took the airport management over in January, we were told that Quonset hut is in bad shape, needs to be repaired, it needs something done with it. And so, back, even though, like I said, before we even took it over, I think November, December, something like that, we went and we brought in a structural engineer to look at it. Not to do a full-blown report, and just kind of give us an idea of the status of that hangar. And he came in and looked at it and said, well, you know, this is obviously not an engineer, it's not a design, it's just metal, oil field pipe put together. They built some wood structures up there, put some, tin on it. But structurally, at that point, he said it's rehabable. There's obviously, like John was saying, there's some rust out, there's some pipe that needs to be replaced, there's some structural areas that need to be strengthened, all the wood needs to be replaced, all the metal paneling needs to be replaced on the building. So this, obviously, it could be used, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get it where it needs to be to continue to use it. And so, at that time, we said, okay, well, great, well, it's nothing, because we were told it's in bad shape and it needs to be condemned and have nobody in there whatsoever. We're like, okay, well, let's have somebody look at it. So we did. That's not the case at the time. You know, so, but we also have not been something that's been our number one priority to get that done. We've been talking about it, looking at different options. There's other things that y'all been a part of that we have had to take care of. You know, there's some stuff with compliance with the FAA that we've had to deal with. That's been taking a first priority. Then we had our little visit from Hurricane Beryl come through and cause the damage, right? And unfortunately, we had damage all over the city, not just at the airport. And so one of the responsibilities that we have is we have to have inspectors come out and look at all the damage that was done, every facility, every building that had damage. And so when they came out, they looked at that building and said, no, this is no longer safe anymore after the hurricane. It is yellow tag. They were considering red tagging it, but they're like, no, we'll yellow tag it as long as they agree to get out. And the city's going to do something with it. So we're like, yes, we're going to do something. One of the things that we've been talking about is, you know, some different options. Do we want to do an RFP? That's an option that we could go out and solicit input. We've done this for other projects in the city where we go out and ask, hey, you provide us a proposal what you would do with that structure. And it could be that somebody may want to come in and totally renovate themselves and make it a restaurant, or make it a museum, or make it a flight school, or a mechanic shop, or an upholstery shop. I mean, no telling what it could be. But you open the door and let anybody submit a proposal, okay? We then review those proposals to see what's the best option. It may be that the city doesn't like any of those options, and then we move forward with something else. Or maybe, hey, this is a great idea, this is a great partnership. Somebody may come in and want to, you know, do a swap. We got those hangars, the last couple of hangars that were built. Somebody came in, worked with the city to build those hangars, and we're working that out with them. Having something similar to that would be great. I don't know if they would want to renovate that structure right there. Maybe they would demo it and move it. You know, if we demo it or remove it, it's not going to be able to be built where it's at now because it's within that 150-foot area. It's grandfathered, but if we replace it, it's going to have to be moved, which may not be a bad thing depending on that use. I mean, so the idea is maybe let's solicit to see what that input could be. We don't know what options could be out there. If we don't like them, then the city can say, okay, what do we want to do with them? You know, and we're working on our master plan at this point. We're working through getting that process done. Maybe it can help us determine what's the best use for that space, that area, and if that's the building that we need to do it. You know, we talked about gang hangers, needing more hangers and gang hangers. Is that the place where we want to put a hanger instead of the Quonset hut or a gang hanger? Of course, you know, one of the things that we've talked about is really if the city's going to have a gang hanger we're going to operate, that's probably not the best location for it. We probably need to have it to where if you're at the FBO, you can watch and monitor that gang hanger we'll be responsible for. You know, but then again, we've also talked about maybe the FBO needs to go into a new gang hanger location. So there's lots of options out there, you know. But first, let's solicit to see what maybe out there. I mean, Chuck, I understand, he's older, so he may not want to go in there and spend the time and money to totally renovate it, to continue to use it and utilize the money that he invested into that to reimburse, you know, himself for that investment. But somebody else might, you know, somebody else might come in and say, hey, I will put a hanger, or I'll redo the Quonset hut and completely do it, and then I will work a deal with the city. Ultimately, it's going to be the city's, but work some kind of deal out. So that was kind of our idea. But it may be that we just say, no, we're going to do this. We don't we don't want the Quonset hut, it's not safe, it's not engineered, there's liability on the city, it's something that we've taken on. Because it's not engineered stuff, there is some liability there. This is a Hurricane 1 that came through. What happens if the next one's a Hurricane 5? You know, so do we want to even consider that? Or do we want to demo it and build a new one somewhere else? That's the move that we need to go. So all we were asking is, I mean, I've been talking to John for this a little while, and some other staff and some of the council as well. We just want to know from y'all, just give us some input. Ultimately, it's going to be a council decision on what we're going to do and how we're going to move forward. But we wanted some input from y'all to kind of help staff and the council on what the next step is. It is here quicker than we expected, but, you know, nobody can control what damages are there. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're just wanting from y'all, you know, is there a serious concern? I mean, it's within the 100 foot if you're not supposed to have anything. Is that a serious issue? Is that something we should be addressing? Is this the opportunity that we should demo it and move that building or get rid of it because it is a hazard? That's what we're looking for. You know, or is there something that y'all think, well, hey, well, I think this would be a great opportunity for the city to do this. Or, yes, y'all agree, hey, let's do it. We think it's a great idea to do the proposal and just see what's out there. And what we come up with, as long as it's going to be a benefit to the city and to the airport. That's kind of what we're wanting. We'll just get some info. We want to run it by y'all as we try to make that decision, and council ultimately makes the decision on how we're going to move forward with that facility.
And just to clarify, an RFP means a request for proposal, if anybody did not know what that means.
Correct.
We keep throwing around the RFP, but some people don't know what that means. So any input, any questions or conversation, or?
I have a comment, I mean, with the, given that hangar space is a set of premium, and we don't have any plan right now to build more hangars, I hate to see, aircraft storage be in as a way of rebuilding it safely.
I agree.
The hangar, 2 or 3, 4 airplanes in there. Again, I've known about it a long time out there, again, push out, but that's, if there's any way we can give them more time, if you need more time, I would all for that. There's a lot of stuff in there that 60 days is dedicated probably tough to do to anybody, but, given the fact that the proximity to the runway, it is within that, it may be a safety concern, depending on the type of structure that goes in there. I'm all for more aircraft forward, so any way we can preserve the hangar space and create more, that's good. But like I said, it may not be the application, but we can give up something that's already there. Can't follow it in, we can put rebuild safely, that might be good.
Well, and then, with Chuck, I mean, he's the patriarch out there. Yeah. I mean, you know my feeling, Chuck. I told you before. If you've never seen a BT-13 that's in that hangar, there's 26 of them in the world. That's it. That's all there are. I own one. For him to remove that airplane out of there, it would take an armada of guys to do it. And we're talking in the heat of the summer, right now, 60 days. August and October, in 100-something degree heat, trying to work on that airplane. It can't be done.
You can't work on the airplane.
No.
It's got to be removed. Yeah.
I know, but to remove it, that airplane, to get it trailerable, to even get it on a trailer, you have to remove the outboard wings and the center section. So that means you got to jack it up. It's got to be jacked up to get it out of there. It's not easy. It is very labor intensive. I mean, that airplane flew in though. It ain't gonna fly out. There's only 3 hangars on the airport, right? Only 4 including the Quonset that it even fits in. That's the 3 big end hangars now. I mean, there's really no option to put it anywhere. And a rare airplane like that, I mean, they're just, I hate this. I don't want to see it. I want to see it wasted. I want to see Chuck happy. I just don't think you can do it in 60 days. I mean, I'll do whatever I can to help him out. He's just a good man. I don't want to put that stress on him. I hate seeing him under stress. He's a very quiet man. That's my concern with it. I just don't want him to give up.
I think we need to evaluate the slab and rebuild the thing right now. We have folks that concrete over top of the concrete. And either, you know, their concrete and put a brand new building on top of that slab. And that would be, start tearing down the Quonset and rebuild that. Let's upgrade to what we were looking for, the regular building. Design, you know, and I have this possible, with a good height, so we can put it up again and put over that door. We'll do the twice door, regular door. And that slab could be, when you evaluate the terms of the slab, and there's gonna be, those new footage for all the main columns. And put the building on top of this thing. That's what we need to choose for now. They don't need to stay with the building. I'm saying the space, we don't need to come from this, we don't stay with the space. But that's what I see. RFPs would be ideal to search that. But I will have to report it and get some guidelines. We'll keep it around that. So,
Essentially, if y'all do that, basically, he said an RFP would be the way to go with it, but if you were gonna get the slab reevaluated to see if the stress of the load could handle a new building, to tear that one down and put a new building on that slab, but essentially start with an RFP.
yeah, that's correct.
Go ahead, Greg.
That's
Sorry.
my question. I
Thank you.
don't know the numbers off the top of my head, so how close is it now? How far would it have to be moved in order to meet the safety parameters of the FAA? I don't know the numbers.
It's actually grandfathered in, so
I know,
legally
but I
it
mean,
doesn't have
if
to.
we're gonna change it,
250 foot from center line.
well, I don't know if you can rebuild it, is what I'm hearing
No,
you say.
I mean-
Grandfather means it has to stay as is, right?
We can, if we repair it, replace it, and if you repair the structure,
That's correct. You can
you
sleep
you
there.
can leave it there. If you replace it, it's gonna have to be new.
Right, so to do Bob's suggestion of rebuilding it,
Yeah.
it would require moving it, you know how far.
And I don't know where, you know how far that is?
Hang on 1 second, guys. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm thinking it's moving.
So Bob, I think where Bob's going with that is, because him and I've talked about this in the past, if the original slab is there, and that slab, the integrity of that slab will hold that structure, then you can rebuild on that slab and it's not considered moving it. I think that's basically where, yeah, that's where he's going with it.
Well, and that is my question.
Yeah.
Does doing that fall under the grandfather?
Remove the foundation, remove it.
As long as you don't move the foundation, I think it's going to be grandfathered in.
It would probably have to be similar use.
Or-
If they get a restaurant there, that would probably, I mean, I don't think that would be fall would get not grandfather fall.
And we probably need to get a little more clarification from the FAA, but it's not in the RPZ, so it's not located in an RPZ. And the center line, I think it's 250, isn't it?
That's what
I think it's supposed to be 250 for the center line.
so that's what I was told, but I haven't seen it in writing.
Yeah.
But I was told 250 from center line.
Yeah, that is the runway safety area.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know where that.
Yeah, but I haven't gone out there and measured how close it is to center line. I don't even have the tape measure.
Well, I know that the RPZ, I have it here. I have the RPZ here.
Measure. I can probably actually get on, what is it, Google Earth and get an estimate that way.
Well, here's the RPZ if anybody wants to look at it. Coincidentally, just because Greg and I worked on this. So the RPZ is not close to the Quonset hut. It's actually quite a ways away from it. But for this situation, if you want to see that, from this situation, I think the city's just looking for ideas. Now they have to check. It's on them to check to see what they can do there.
So I think at a minimum, the city would want to get a metal building contractor out there and get an estimate of what it would take to rebuild it safely. And then they offer something to Chuck as far as you need to stay there or somewhere else. I mean, like I said, I don't see it just taking away aircraft storage.
think the problem on is gonna be the cost of it, to rent that building afterwards. The rent on that building currently is, very little.
Right. I understand that, but what I'm saying is, would it be cheaper, less expensive to rebuild that, repair it, rebuild it, whatever it takes, opposed to building that square footage somewhere else in the area?
Oh, correct, yeah.
I would imagine it would be cheaper to rebuild that. But maybe not, the way things are, new construction, less expensive.
When you look at the beginning of the big year seal on the construction, you have a number of manufacturers. You're a tree, you're a engineer, still building.
I think that's gonna be the challenge, is trying to get somebody just to fix it and give you that guarantee and warranty that it's not gonna fall down, is gonna be very challenging when you've got rusted out pipe this big that's holding that structure up. I mean, so for them to come in, they almost have to replace, for them to guarantee it, they will almost want to replace everything, and now you're back to a new structure, you know, and I don't know about the slab, maybe that is the requirement. I know for a lot of stuff, on the development side of the world, you know, if you reach 25-30%, you gotta redo, to meet the new code, you gotta meet the current code. If you go more than a certain percentage, you know, so I don't know on this, if the FAA is gonna say, you know, at what point does this have to be moved? Now you have to bring it up to code or bring it into regulation.
Dustin, go ahead.
You know, this thing has survived many, many storms. I mean, I've been here since '01. Rita ripped us up to shreds. I was out there 56 days with Rita. Didn't get to the airport. Ike. I mean, Amelia. Look, all these storms, this thing has weathered throughout this, from the 60s on. It's very impressive as a structure that it is. I just don't, I mean, I haven't looked at the structure. I don't know, I'm not a structural engineer myself, but its history and what it's done, I think is pretty impressive to survive that long.
So you want to see it stay?
Well, I'd like to see if it could be costly repaired and completely redone. I mean, there's got to be some smart guys out there, smart construction guys, that can fix this, I think, relatively easily. I think.
There's one issue with this pipe building, it's the pipe building with what's called strong and cash.
Yeah.
They have done a wonderful job. I've been here about right. Real, the girls, all the women we had. They had some of the well, but I have been on top of this, but here it is, pretty well checked. One person, not too many lots of bonds, we love to see them at 3 years in the place. It would be a very expensive project to do some coating on. And then the problem is going to have engineers.
You're still not going to have an engineer stamp on it.
If we took over from the Whirlwind, USA or some good non-building contractor from the nation, you get a good price. And we follow safety norms and necessary. And it fits the plan that we have, another road out there right now. And it was very perfect. Because we go in, actually, we see him. Wonderful. But it's very good. We want to put a new foundation in, we cut out plugs for the footing, all the footing. We put a real footing out there, and then we string with column, right there. That takes care of the road for the building. So we don't put any weight on the main slab, it's what we have on it. It's the main build footing, what we have on the building. So that's what I'm suggesting, I think we're not doing it, it's language.
I
know you can see.
For me, I agree with Bob. I think that take it away from us and do an RFP and then bring it back to us if the RFP didn't work. My idea, as far as I agree with Bob on that, and then if we don't, maybe just an idea, but maybe if the RFPs, we don't get any RFPs, maybe then look at either fixing it, replacement, or something like that.
That gives you 3 options, basically.
Yep.
I'm sure we can, with some of the council,
And you don't know, you may get, you just don't know. I mean, you can get 10 RFPs and, we did something on an RFP the other day and a deal with meetings on F6. We got 6 RFPs on a deal on our EDC the other day and didn't know we were gonna get one. Kind of doubted that we were gonna get one and got 6. And all very, very good RFPs.
I have a curiosity question, and it may not be our purview, so Scott, if so, please say so quick. In the situation, looking at it from Chuck's perspective, what happened when the structure that he's been leasing from us is no longer safe to occupy? And he displays. Are you finding a soft landing? Is there another space on the airport that we give him priority for in a situation like that? I'm just kind of curious what the process is
So
for a tenant in that scenario.
I was actually in the meeting that we had with him the other day, and without going over his stuff specifically, but the people that handled that meeting did tell him that any hangar that came open right away, he would be the first to have it. The problem is cost. Dustin, I'm not calling him Dustin. His hangar, just because we all know what hangar Dustin has. His hangar is almost twice as much as Chuck's. So for him to move that plane that we're talking about, even if, hypothetically Dustin up and wanted to move out the mall, and we offered that to Chuck, Chuck said he just went okay with it. That specific plane won't fit in any other hangar. There's only 3 hangars out there. We actually, the other day, looked at the measurements and height and everything else on it, and Dustin's right, 3. Is there, oh, well, yeah, well, that one don't really count, but yeah, there's 3. And realistically, there's 0. Those 4 hangars, no one's in. And they offered him free ramp space for whatever airplanes he had in there. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
So
Free
basically,
ramp space.
the landing, the soft landing was.
The soft landing is a free ramp space
That's fine.
unless we have a hangar come open, if one comes open, Vicki and Danielle both said that he could have it. Literally. But yes, the free ramp space, absolutely. He's got all the free ramp space he wants. And also, he was the one actually, he wanted the 60 days, but they did tell him that they needed some more time, especially on that one problem. His concern actually was not 60 days at all. His concern was, the only problem with the 60 days, his concern was the one airplane. And so, as far as that's concerned. Any other questions? Everybody, what about Julius? What do you got? What's your opinion on the Haunted update?
I think a RFP on it, see what we get. And I also looked at it and Google Earth estimated it. It's probably barely on the edge of being out of the 250. It's right where I got it. It's about 250, between 246 and 260. So it may just barely be on that 250 edge. So if we did have to take it down, we do that. I think it maybe only needs to shift a foot or 2. So
You might be able to even turn it or something and.
yeah, so there's that option also, that it may not even really have to move much at all.
Or a new structure could go there, just be a little bit smaller or.
Yeah, they shift it a little bit or however we do it.
Or John.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing, if y'all do decided to do the metal building, a metal builder is not gonna put any structure up unless they got period drilled for their foundation or uprights. So that's another issue with this. They're gonna want, probably 3 foot deep, if not deeper pier, drilled in there with their rebar and their bolts sticking up.
There's your
Yeah, same, we understand. point.
Well, it's even like we talked about it, we talked about even the location. I mean, if somebody wanted to come in and say do a school, you know,
Flight school.
a flight school, or whatever, we just had 4 more open or whatever in the condo. I mean, if they want to do that, is that really the best location, or do you want to move it closer to the road to where the people that come to the train are parking right there and not having to drive all the way through the airport to get back to that hangar?
I think you could, where that dirt road is, I think you could put a road there.
You get
too.
there's some different, like I said, so there's
There's some
different things,
different
you could turn the building, where the, I mean, there's just some different things that you could do, and that's what a proposal is for, but there's a lot of people out there that can come up with a lot of great things, they'll be creative, and then make a presentation to us and show us what they think they can do.
They're looking for space.
I'm in with Julius and Bob, and I think that's kind of what you said too, that I did RFP and then see what gets offered on.
One question, we did repair, what is the cost of hangar gonna go up to? Do we have that figured out yet, or?
We have the commercial rate, we offset that, but as far as if it's not commercial, we don't know. But again, with an RFP, all we're assuming with an RFP, we're gonna have a negotiated term and condition.
Just curious if they just kept it with just a hangar, or what?
It's not gonna be, it's
Well, I'm
gonna have to
saying
be,
if it turns, that's what I'm asking.
yeah, no, it's
So 35 cents a foot,
the commercial
it's
rate.
1750, right? I'm doing that off the top of my head. 1750, is that right?
It's 5,000 square foot, so.
Times 35, yeah, 1750.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah, usually pretty good with numbers. Yeah. And if not, then if it didn't get any RFPs and we didn't get a commercial tenant, then we would have to, I'm guessing, come up with a price.
And we have the funding to be able to do what we need to do with it.
Yeah,
That's the other,
to supply the funding and,
it's gonna cost some money, and no matter what we do, and where that money comes from, do we have the funding? The airport itself at this point does not have the money to do a renovation.
that money would probably have to be borrowed from
Emilio said no.
ADC, unfortunately. Yeah, I got one of my board members here. He's all for it, I know he's for it.
Return on investment, yes.
I know they're EDC president too. Anything else, any other ideas?
And again, then it goes, is repairing that the best thing at that point, or is it building something, putting another 20 or 30 hangars, where we
Big
can.
option, comparing them to the,
Well, I think then it's price. Give a price on each.
I think the grandfather piece is gonna be huge, but if what Julie says right, it's fine, I think.
Yeah.
It's not
So,
much.
I mean, if they just be on the edge of it, that's good work, it's not out there.
It's
walking
good for
and
estimates, but that's about it. Okay, thank y'all.
No problem. Any other questions, comments? Anything else? You? Anything else? Justin? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, I got a motion to adjourn by Julius Buckley, a second by Bob Bartlett. All in favor? We're adjourned.